You didn't choose her. You chose comfort, the numbness, the safe little world where nothing changes and nothing truly lives. You thought she'd wait. You thought she'd understand. But comfort doesn't forgive. And now you're here, alone, scrolling through memories that don't belong to you anymore. She's gone. And the silence you chose is louder than her love ever was. This isn't just about losing her. This is about how you lost yourself. Because comfort always asks for one thing in return. Everything. It starts slow. A missed call. A text you took too long to answer. A night when you chose the couch, the controller, the same routine, instead of looking her in the eyes and asking how her heart was doing. You told yourself she'd understand, that you were tired, that life is hard, that tomorrow would be better. But love doesn't live in tomorrow. It dies in the quiet, invisible moments of neglect. She wanted to feel you, not just your presence, but your fire. She wanted to be seen, to be held like she was the only soft place in your world. Instead, you gave her absence wrapped in convenience. And worse, you didn't even realize it. Because comfort is deceptive. It feels like peace. But it's just the absence of growth, the avoidance of risk, the death of intimacy, dressed up in routine. You didn't mean to hurt her. But that's the thing. Most heartbreak doesn't come from cruelty. It comes from indifference. You chose the path of least resistance. And in doing so, you resisted her. Her love, her vulnerability, her need to be fought for. And now she's gone. Not in anger, but in silence. The kind of silence that follows a war you didn't even realize you were losing. And the worst part? You still don't know what moment she stopped believing in you. But she did. And she left. And you're still here, holding on to a comfort that cost you the one person who made you feel alive. This isn't about one relationship. It's about a pattern. A wound you don't even know you have. You don't chase love because chasing means risking rejection. You choose safety, control. You choose what won't challenge you, what won't ask you to show up fully. And when someone offers you real connection, you freeze. Not because you don't feel it, but because you do. And that feeling terrifies you, so you retreat into what's familiar. Work, screens, excuses. You tell yourself you're just not ready. But the truth is darker. You fear being fully seen. Because being seen means being known. And being known means being hurt. So you bury your fire beneath layers of "I'm fine." And when someone loves you enough to reach for it, you flinch. She wasn't asking for perfection. She wasn't waiting for a finished version of you. She just wanted the real you. The messy, scared, unfinished man underneath the armor. But you never let him come out. Comfort told you it was okay. That she'd always be there. That love is patient. But love, real love, has limits. It needs to feel chosen. It needs to be fed. You starved her. With silence. With distance. With passivity. And in the end, you didn't lose her because of who you are. You lost her because of who you refused to become. Because growth is painful, love is vulnerable, and comfort is the quiet killer of both. She was your mirror, and you broke it, not with violence, but with stillness, with indecision, with the slow erosion of effort. And now every time you remember her smile, you remember what it cost to keep things comfortable, and how that comfort became your cage. You think back to the beginning, how alive she made you feel, the spark, the chaos, the depth. She didn't just walk into your life, she collided with it, and for a moment you remembered who you could be. Not the man who coasts through days, not the one hiding behind plans and polite conversations, but the one who feels, who burns, who wants more. And that scared you. She touched parts of you that no one else even noticed. She asked questions that made you uncomfortable, not because they were wrong, but because they were real. What are you running from? Why do you hold back? Why are you always halfway here? You laughed it off, changed the subject, told her she was too intense, too emotional, too much. But the truth is, she was too honest, too awake, too unwilling to settle for a version of you that even you didn't respect. You watched her give her heart with hands shaking. You watched her believe in your potential when even you didn't. You watched her love you fully, wildly, bravely, and you gave her crumbs. A date here, a compliment there, a flicker of presence before disappearing into your distractions. You told yourself you were showing up, that you just weren't ready. But what you really meant was, I'm afraid to give more than this, because if I do, and it still ends, then I'll have nothing left to hide behind. So you hid, behind timing, behind work, behind your fear of being truly seen. But here's the part you never considered. She wasn't waiting for a perfect man. She was waiting for an honest one. And when she realized you'd rather protect your comfort than fight for her, she stopped fighting too. You thought she'd stay. She always had before. But something shifted. She stopped texting first. Stopped trying to fill the silence. Stopped asking you to care. At first it felt like space. A breather. A break from the emotional weight. But space has a cost. And the silence grew teeth. You started noticing her laughter wasn't for you anymore. That her eyes didn't search for yours. That her stories didn't begin with "guess what happened today." You told yourself she was just busy. That things would realign, that love always comes back. But love doesn't wait forever. And the day she left, truly left, wasn't marked by a fight, or a scream, or a door slammed shut. It was quiet. A text that said, "I hope you find what you're looking for," and nothing else. You stared at it, waited for the follow-up that never came, checked your phone more times than you'd admit. But the silence? It stayed, and it echoed louder than any goodbye. You tried to go back to your comforts. The couch, the games, the mindless scrolling. But they felt hollow now. You realized something. Comfort only feels good when you still believe there's nothing to lose. But once you've tasted something real, everything else feels like ash. Now you replay every moment like a crime scene. Where did you go wrong? What could you have done differently? The truth haunts you. You didn't need to be more. You just needed to be there, to try, to care out loud. But you waited, hoping love would survive your silence. It didn't. And now you live with ghosts, not the horror movie kind. The quiet ones, the scent that still lingers on your hoodie. The song that hits different now. The coffee shop you avoid because it still holds her laughter. You thought losing her would be dramatic. Tears, apologies, closure. But it wasn't. It was slow, like watching a light fade out, one unnoticed moment at a time. And now you're here, not broken, not destroyed, just empty. And that's worse, because at least pain reminds you you're alive. But emptiness, it just floats. She wanted your heart. You gave her your habits. She offered growth. You chose stillness. And that decision, quiet, invisible, repeated, is what cost you everything. But here's the part that stings the most. You'll meet someone else. Someday. And maybe you'll be ready then. Maybe you'll open up. Maybe you'll finally show up the way you were always capable of. But it won't be her. And no matter how good it gets, you'll always wonder what it would have been like if you just chosen her back. She didn't leave because she stopped loving you. She left because you made her feel unloved. You thought she'd never go. But she did. Quietly. You didn't lose her all at once. You lost her every time you said, "I'm tired." Every time you looked at your phone instead of her eyes. Every time you didn't say what you felt. She begged for effort, you offered excuses. Now someone else will kiss the forehead you ignored, hold the hands you let go, laugh with the woman you once called yours. And when you see her smile again, not for you, you'll finally understand. You weren't replaced. You were released. It's easy to blame time, or timing, to say, we just grew apart. But the truth is harder to swallow. You didn't grow at all. She did. She kept evolving, aching, reaching for something deeper, while you stayed still, numb, convinced that love was a thing to be preserved, not nurtured. But love doesn't survive stillness. It demands movement, mess, risk. You thought choosing comfort would protect you, but it only protected your fear, not your future, not your connection, not her. You didn't need to have all the answers. She never asked for that. She just wanted to see you try. And now, in the quiet of your own making, you understand. Avoiding pain cost you joy. Avoiding rejection cost you love. Avoiding depth cost you the only person who ever looked at your darkness and didn't flinch. You look back and realize there was a door, open, waiting, and you stood outside, too afraid to walk through, so she closed it, not with hate, but with grace. And you're left with the lesson, a brutal one, a necessary one, that love doesn't leave in anger, it leaves in silence, when it's tired of begging to be felt. Now, you carry the weight of the love you never gave, the words you never said, the version of you she believed in, that you were too afraid to become. But maybe this is your moment. Not for her, but for you. Maybe loss isn't the end. Maybe it's the mirror. The one that shows you exactly who you've been, and who you still have time to be. Don't waste it. Not again. If this felt like a mirror you weren't ready to face, share it with someone who still has time to choose differently. Someone who still has a door open. And if that someone is you, don't wait until it closes. Move. Now.